It's always better to know exactly where you're at with your sexual health and how to keep yourself in the clear. To help make that process a whole lot easier, GaySA Radio is here to lend a helping hand. So, in the studio with us, we have a professional to answer a few questions. Welcome to the Steam Room.
GaySA Radio, where you are family. This is Ray, and today we are joined by Pierre Brouard from Center for Sexualities, AIDS and Gender to chat to us about mental and sexual health. Do you think there is a link between mental and sexual health?
Definitely. I think first of all, anybody who grew up as gay or lesbian or trans, for example, would have likely experienced some form of discrimination and negative attitudes towards their sexual orientation or gender identity. And that can definitely contribute to long-standing low self-esteem, feelings of isolation and alienation, and can contribute to depression and anxiety. So anybody who's suffering from depression and anxiety can, in fact, end up having a problematic sex life. So if you're depressed, for example, you may not be able to function well sexually. You may feel undesirable. You may be less likely to protect yourself in a sexual encounter because you have a low sense of self-worth. An anxious person might struggle to perform sexually. But I think there's also kind of a reverse relationship, because if you're having a really good sex life, which is affirming and mutual and satisfying, that in itself contributes to mental well-being. So there's a very powerful link, I would say, between mental and sexual health.
And also, how does one go about treating these mental or sexual issues? Well,
there isn't a simple and neat answer to that question, because you can imagine if you're a 40-year-old gay man, and for most of your life you've been told that you are unworthy or second-class citizen. To undo those years of negative conditioning is not a simple process. I would say, first of all, individual psychotherapy is one way in which someone can start to unpack all those negative messaging that one has received and to do something about it. Support groups or, I suppose, medication is a factor. If you have severe forms of depression and anxiety, then seeing a psychiatrist or a GP who's understanding of mental health issues can be helpful. But I also think if you have positive and affirming relationships, I don't necessarily only mean sexual relationships, although that's important, but if you have friends, a family, a sense of community where you feel connected, where you feel affirmed, where you feel people like you and accept you for who you are, in a sense, that's a form of treatment, to be surrounded by people who really appreciate and value you for who you are unconditionally. I think those are some of the sort of immediate suggestions I would make to somebody. It's not easy. We live in a fast-paced world, and I think the social media space can be quite negative. And even if you think about people who use dating or hookup apps, those can be quite brutal sometimes. So I would, if you're finding that those are having a negative impact on your life, I would look for other ways to find forms of affirmation.
All right. And I think from everything you just unpacked for us in terms of mental or sexual health, can you confidently say that people can find actually a good balance between mental and sexual health?
Well, I think balance is always going to be dependent on what's going on in your life at the moment. I don't think anybody can say, I know I can't, that I've achieved a perfect balance in all aspects of my life confidently going forward that I'm never going to be unsettled by something. Something can happen in your life where you have, a relationship can break down, or somebody that you're very close to passes away, or you find that you're not happy in your job, or you get a physical illness. All of those can affect your wellness and your well-being. And so it's not only about, I think, balance, which I think is achievable from time to time, but also whether you've got resilience in being able to rise up from adversity and getting help from people who care about you and support you to get you through a particular moment of crisis. And then you might find that you're feeling good and balanced for a while, but then a new crisis can emerge. So I think finding balance is an ongoing life strategy.
Thank you so much, Pierre. That was, of course, Pierre Brouard from Center for Sexualities, AIDS and Gender, chatting to us about mental and sexual health. My name is Ray, and this is GaySA Radio, where you are family.
Now that was an insider's info on how to keep yourself safe and anxiety-free. I'm Max, and you're listening to The Steam Room here on GaySA Radio, where you are family.